people really wasn't booking, so money really started getting tight. Look at God, like I'm telling you, life throw me curveballs, but God like, hey look, I got you. Just keep going, just keep. Hey, what's up YouTube? So as you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm gonna be giving a little story time, transparency post, whatever you want to call it. But basically I'm gonna be sharing with y'all why I decided to leave my salon suite. And I got my iPad with my notes, so I'll make sure I'm not rambling too much for y'all. But yes, the goal of this video is to basically help somebody who's just now getting into the beauty industry as an entrepreneur, whether you makeup artist, hairstylist, nail tech, whatever. I feel like everybody can take something from the lessons I learned this year. So yeah, if you are interested in hearing some tea about my life and just little tips or whatever about entrepreneurship, then keep on watching this video. Okay, so we really just gonna roll right into the story time. And I'm sorry if I keep like sniffling or whatever. It's like hella cold. It's like 39 degrees. I turned the heat on, but it's a little chilly in here, so I'm kind of like, you know, so excuse me for that. But yeah, okay, so story time. So before I can tell y'all why I decided to leave my salon suite, I think it was back in like July. I really got to give y'all the entire backstory so everything can make sense. So started really build my clientele in 2020, surprise surprise, during the pandemic. Built my clientele literally from the ground up. So I started working from home, of course, because you know during the pandemic we was all in the house. But I don't know, like God was just like, look, they closing down salons and they, you know what I'm saying, closing down establishments and stuff, but you still need to be grinding, you still need to be working, you still need to be, you know, putting yourself out there, and just take clients from your house. And you know, of course, have certain like requirements and stuff, keeping yourself safe and your clients safe, but ultimately you need to get to the bag. So I was taking clients from my home in 2020, built my clientele from home. Did that up until 2020, 2022. Yeah, 2022 was when everything was like moving along. 2020 made hella money from home. Yes, during the pandemic, like that was a good year for me. But yeah, fast forward to 2022, I think it was around 2022, like April or May, I decided to leave the house that I was living in. And because of that, like things kind of got a little shaky or whatever, because I'm like, damn, I'm moving, but I still need to find somewhere where I can take clients, continue taking clients. So boom, I did some research on handydandy.google.com, and I was just searching for just like booth rent, salon rent, stuff like that, and Google pointed me into the direction of this app called ShareShare. And if you are familiar with ShareShare, then you know that ShareShare be coming through. But yeah, so I found ShareShare and I went on there and I was looking for like booth rentals that was within my budget, and I ended up finding a salon in Atlanta, in the West End area. And if you're from Atlanta, you know the West End area. I was at the West End Suites. So yeah, moved out, found ShareShare, start taking clients from my salon suite, from a salon, booth rent, 2022. Did that for about 9 months, up until early this year, January. So crazy story. Out of nowhere, long story short, out of nowhere, the owner of the salon like closed the salon down, and we literally, like everybody, because I wasn't the only one working in there, of course, it was a few other stylists, and we all had to figure out what we was about to do. We had 1 week to move out, so we had to figure out what we was about to do. So I'm like, damn, like crazy thing is, it was hella slow. Like clients was booking, but clients wasn't booking like how they was booking in 2022. Like, so January, February, that's like a slow season within the hair industry, just depending on what you offer. So yeah, the salon closed down, and I'm like, fuck, you know, life continuously throw you curveballs, and you know what I'm saying, you just gotta roll with the punches. So I'm like, okay, bet. So again, pulled out Share, did some Googling, did some researching on the app to find certain salons, and found some salons. And I'm gonna just be honest, like a lot of these salons in Atlanta, like, don't believe the hype. Like, I'm not trying to like expose nobody or nothing, but this is like real life experiences that I've experienced. Yeah, like they are just like dirty and nasty, and it's just they want to charge you like these buku prices, and they not really offering you nothing. All they offering you is literally a chair in a small ass station, and they trying to charge out the ass for it. But luckily, you know what I'm saying, I'm resilient, so I just kept looking, and I was able to find actually the salon that I'm sitting in right now. Love this salon. Like, this salon is definitely a godsend for me. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all, just keep watching. I'm gonna tell y'all how I got back here, because again, like I said, I did have my suite this year as well. So the hassle, like me scrambling trying to find somewhere to take my clients and stuff, like it was a lot. But yeah, so boom, ended up here, was working here so I moved out of that salon that I was working in since last year in January. So I started coming here in February. So I was here for about a month, like just a couple weeks, till I was trying to figure stuff out. Then boom, while I had this for the time being, start doing my research. One thing about it, I'ma Google my ass off, I'ma research my ass off, I'ma look something up. Like, it ain't nobody's business. I'ma figure it out, basically. So yeah, so I was figuring it out, and just like at this point I was actually looking for my own suites, because talking to my clients and stuff, they encouraging me like, girl, like you need to have your own suite, like you are like literally the GOAT, you need to have your own space. So I'm like, okay, cool, like let me just see what's out there, let me start manifesting, let me go visit some spots, XYZ, right? So visited a few spots before I actually found my salon suite that I end up going with. So, and I'm sorry if I keep like looking away, like when I talk, like if it's not nobody like standing in front of me for real, it's hard for me to make eye contact. But I'm gonna try to make sure that I continue to look in the camera lens and not the mirror and not out the window. But keep up. So boom, was like searching for salon suites. So I found one that was actually near my house, and I'm really kind of like, I just want to make sure I haven't missed no key points that I want to point out to y'all. So boom, right, so found a salon suite near my house, and let me tell y'all how God works. Like, God is almighty, like the most high, the divine creator. Like, when I tell you, always coming through for me, always coming through. But anyways, so boom, looked at the suite, of course fell in love with the suite because it was renovated, very modern, so totally my style. So I'm like, okay, boom. So I'm talking to the owners and everything, like, they asking a lot about me, and they wanted to know, like, did I do anything else outside of being a hairstylist? And really they asked me that because they wanted to see, like, was I serious about hair? Did I have like all these other multiple jobs and XYZ? So I was like, well, I actually do. At that time, I was offering social media management services, and I do graphics and stuff like that. I make my own graphics, I know how to make logos, flyers, things of that nature. So I showed them my work, showed them my page, and they were interested in like cutting a deal with me. So I'm like, look at God, like, I'm telling you, life throw me curveballs, but God like, hey, look, I got you. Just keep going. Just, you know what I'm saying? So boom, cut a deal with the owner, and things was going good. In exchange for me running their social media page and like basically revamping their entire page. And I know I haven't said the name of the salon suites just because I'm not really like trying to do like no promo. Like, sorry, I'm not. I don't know, like maybe if y'all ask me in the comments, I might respond and tell y'all the suites. But anyways, yeah, so in exchange of me running their social media running their social media page, they gave me a discount. And you know, that was like that was a true blessing. You know what I'm saying? That was a true blessing. Things was going good up until inflation was still like a big factor in the way things were like moving for me. And not just me, just in general. Like, if you on social media, if you in the hair industry and you are like active on social media, everybody, like a lot of hairstylists, I can't really say like nail techs and other things and other people like makeup artists, stuff like that, but hairstylists, it's been crazy. Like, people like, it ain't never been this bad. Like, so inflation really been like playing a key part in like my financial stability, like just keeping it 100. So yeah, so though I had this beautiful ass suite, was loving it, you know, I had my own space, like, you know, I feel like I was doing everything right. I was doing like social media management and I was loving it up until it's like people really wasn't booking, so money really started getting tight. So I'm like, okay, though y'all giving me a discount, I still have to pay y'all. On top of the fact, if you know about what a social media manager does, then you know what all that requires. So I'm doing that for a salon suite, and I'm still also doing that for my own business as well. So things were getting very overwhelming for me. It's like, really wasn't making the money that I was used to making. On top of the fact, I had to send deliverables because I just cut a deal with these people. So I'm like, yo, like, savings getting low. Still had to pay them booth rent, suite rent. And when you really do the math, having a suite, that's literally another rent. So unless you're working from home, that's 2 rents. So you got to keep that in mind. The math was no longer mathing for me. And mind you, let's backtrack. So even before I got into my suite, like, I literally built a 6-figure business on my back, like standing behind a chair using my bare hands. 6-figure business. But what people have to realize, and what people get shit confused, it's like, oh, when you have a 6-figure business, people, you know, they start thinking like, oh, you got it, you know, da da da. Like, my business is worth 6 figures. I don't have, like, I don't profit all of that 6 figures. Like, as a business, your business may make 6 figures, but for the entire year to run that business, it may have taken 80K, 50K, whatever the case may be. Like, so people just really have to understand that, like, yes, somebody may have a $1 million business. That technically doesn't make them a millionaire. Like, yes, their business is worth $1 million, but it's like a thin line when people be like, oh, you a 6-figure earner, like, girl, you ain't had it, da da da. And like I said, I had a little money saved up, but everything that was happening, and keep in mind, everything that was happening, like, was so totally unexpected. But keep up, because I'm getting to the point of, number 1, why I decided to share this video, and number 2, how you can learn from my mistakes. And yeah, it's leading into something else as well. So yeah. So moral of the story is, I ended that contract. It was a 3-month contract. Ended that contract with them because after me realizing, like, budget wise, like financially, like as an entrepreneur financially, if things aren't making sense, then it's just not making sense. Like, don't ever look at yourself as a failure because you crunch the numbers and you're like, damn, this not making sense. We gotta want to, you know, step back and figure something else out, because it has to make sense. When you're a business and you're an entrepreneur and you're in the place where you're no longer making profit, that's when you really have to reanalyze, revise, revamp, and see what's going on to figure out how to move forward. And that's one thing, you know what I'm saying, that I had to learn myself and understand, like, you didn't fail, but this is a learning lesson for you. So as an entrepreneur, like, you're going to continuously always, you know, be faced with certain obstacles that you have to maneuver around, and that's just a part of being an entrepreneur. That's a part of the risk. That's a part of, you know, being your own boss. Like, you really have to figure shit out to make it make sense for your business, because at the end of the day, we are a business. So yeah, like I said, ended that 3-month contract because I knew my worth, and overall, like, I don't regret anything that, you know, took place, because I know God put me in that situation, because I was like, yo, I want to be a social media manager. You know, I was trying to I was in a space of pivoting and really trying to see what was next for me, because all 2022 I was making money, but everybody was always asking me about, like, my content and just things of that nature, and like, how did I grow my platform on Instagram. So I was like, you know what, I want to set up something to where I can actually be a resource for people who want to learn how to make content, who want to build their platform, whether you are a entrepreneur, whether you are a content creator, whether you are a micro influencer. So I already had that mindset last year. So this year, I just looked at this as an opportunity from God, saying, like, okay, you say, you know, you want to get into the social media management, helping people in businesses create content. So this is your opportunity. So that's ultimately why I took the opportunity. And like I said, at that time, with everything that was going on, me trying to find somewhere just get more stable back into my business when it comes to where I was going to service my clients, I was like, you know what, God, I hear you. So I took the opportunity. But within working that, I started to understand my worth as well, because though I was slow with my clients, I still, like I said, had to pay my sweet rent and do all this work. I'm talking about the amount of work that I was doing. I'm telling you, it was at least a 4-figure monthly subscription price type of thing. So instead of me doing that, I was like, you know what, I know my worth now that I put in the work and I see what's required. Even though I already knew what was required, because like I said, I do it for myself, but doing it for another business as well, it's like, yeah, you're giving me this discount for these suites, but it's just, it's no longer mathing for me. So that's when, you know, again, we definitely got into a position to where we were renegotiating the contract. And of course, but after that 3 months of me putting in all that work, posting on their social media every day, making graphics, posting in their stories, replying back to DMs, and I'm talking about, this was Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Keep that in mind. That's a lot of work for basically free, because it wasn't like my booth rent was free. Suite rent. I keep saying booth rent. It wasn't like my suite rent was free. So I hit them with the, you know what I'm saying, like, instead of the discount, I would just require y'all, if y'all want me to continue my services, I would just require y'all to pay my premium. And I still even gave them a discount just because we was working together, you know. And they had given me that opportunity, which I very much appreciated, because I definitely learned a lesson. Like, I am no longer, like, interested in doing social media management for other people. However, I do want to still help people and teach people how to create content, things of that nature. So yeah, and you know, I obviously it wasn't really in their budget based off what I was asking. So we ended the contract there, and that's how I ended up back here at this beautiful salon, and definitely grateful to have come back to it, and just to have this to fall back on while I get my ducks in a row. But ultimately, one thing that I have learned this year just about being an entrepreneur, being a hairstylist, all of that, is, number one, you can't really depend on people in the industry. Like, if you work in a salon, you just want to always make sure, for number one, as a business, that you have like emergency funds, and really taking that seriously. Number two, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, to where something like what happened to me, like a salon that I'm working in closing, to where you basically, it's like, if I wasn't standing behind the chair, then I wouldn't make money. So it's like, you definitely want to have multiple streams of income set in place, no matter what that is, whether you are teaching, offering classes, whether you have a product line, brand collaborations, like just having multiple streams of income, just so you can always have things to fall, like money is just always flowing through your business, whether you're actually working or not. Another thing, always plan ahead, because honestly nothing is a guarantee, and that's not like you having a fearful mindset of something bad may happen, but within business you want to definitely be prepared, because you don't want to get to a point to where something happens and your entire business flukes because you wasn't ready, and you know what I'm saying, like you didn't have funds set aside to continue to keep your business running, even though there's inflation, even though clients aren't booking. So yeah, which ultimately, as far as the like multiple streams of income, that's ultimately one of the number one lessons that I've definitely learned this year. Having multiple streams of income, and it's not just about selling products, teaching classes, it's also about understanding about business credit, and like actually structuring yourself as a business. I've had my LLC since 2020, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, but I feel like the girlies in the beauty industry, a lot of them, they don't really have themselves set up as an LLC, as a business entity. Even if you are renting a booth, you still need to have an LLC. You need to establish yourself as a business, so that, for number one, you can qualify for business funding, business credit, things of that nature. But your business has to be set up properly. You have to structure it properly in order to be qualified for that. So business credit, since leaving my suite, I really crunched down on building my business credit, because that's one thing that I know just from doing research, that's one of the number one things that's very important as a business. Basically, the money I was making from the profits and all of that I was making from like my actual like business, I shouldn't have been using that to continue to keep my business running, if that makes sense. I should have been using my business credit to keep things flowing, so that way I'm able to set buku amount of money aside, start up other income streams under my LLC, using my profit money, not using, and even using business credit. But having business credit is so key. Like, people think like, oh, I'm not a big corporation, or I don't have this big ass salon, or this big ass nail salon, or this big ass spa. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, the moment I knew that I needed my LLC, and as I was doing research, I hopped on it. And that's one thing that I wanted to lead into next. Like, I will be starting a girl boss series, to where I really go in depth on, for number one, how to properly structure your business if you don't know how, because there is information out there, you just have to do the research. But some people, they don't know how to do the research. So again, I would just like to be a resource for them to help them succeed and learn from my mistakes. But yes, I will be creating a girl boss series where I'm teaching you how to structure your business, how to set yourself up to get qualified for business credit, like why it's important to have an LLC, just all of the things, everything girl boss, everything beauty boss. Like, I'm realizing that that's also a part of my purpose. Like, everything that I learn, I need to also share with other people, because through my mistakes, like, people can learn. But if I'm not being transparent about the things that has happened to me and how I've overcome them, you know, like, it's like, okay, great job, you did it, but you need to share that knowledge with somebody else to help somebody else succeed just like you are. So that's my goal. From now and beyond, honestly. Definitely going heavy in 2024 with my beauty business coaching and content creation, courses and classes, as well as my digital products. But yes, one message I want to share: if you are working from home as a beauty professional, whether you are a hairstylist, makeup artist, nail tech, eyebrow artist, esthetician, look, I feel like if you can set yourself up properly and structure things to where it's professional and, you know, like it makes sense, like you are carrying yourself as a business, you're holding yourself to a certain standard, by all means, there's nothing wrong with working from home. That's exactly where I started, and I'm actually glad that I did, like how everything happened for me. I'm glad that it happened the way that it happened for me. Because if I didn't build my clientele at home, it would have just been a mess. I wouldn't have been able to afford even going into the salon that I went into once I left home, because I had to keep up with my booth rent. So it's like, you have to make things make sense. Build your clientele at home. There's nothing wrong with working from home. That way you set yourself up, and I say honestly, work from home until you can save at least 6 months worth of suite rent. Until you can save 6 months worth of suite rent, stay at home. Stay at home, build your clientele at home. I'm telling y'all, that's what I did. And I've seen people, they get into the suites, can't afford it because they don't have a clientele. You gotta have a clientele. And that's why Share honestly is a godsend to like people who are building themselves up. And you know, for even the most seasoned stylists who need somewhere to go, like you traveling, things of that nature, like Share is perfect. But it's definitely perfect for people who are building their clientele because they do dailies. I think they offer weekly as well, but they do daily booth rents. So you can really make something shake with Share if you don't want to work from home. But there's nothing wrong with working from home, because honestly, at the end of the day, you're gonna save so much money. You're gonna save so much money, I promise you. But yes, like I said, this is me. This is my story. This was my story time on why I left my suite, and why there's nothing wrong with working from home, and why it's so important to have business credit brewing in the back for you as an entrepreneur. So yes, definitely be on the lookout for my Girl Boss series. Super excited about that. It's been something that I've been planning on doing for a minute, and things have to be structured for me. It has to make sense. So it's been taking me some time to plan everything out, because I don't want to seem like I'm rambling or anything like that when I'm making these videos. Like I said, this was a story time, so I might have been rambling just a little bit, but yes, I made this video. Hopefully, you know, I inspired somebody to keep going. Whether you're working from home, whether you are in a salon suite, just make sure everything makes sense. And if you don't have your LLC, you definitely need to apply for your LLC, because you want to get that registered as soon as possible, because once you have that, you can get your EIN. Once you get your EIN, you can get your DUNS. Once you get your, like, once you have, it's just, I'm telling you, I'm going to be spilling all of the tea, all of the knowledge in my Girl Boss series. So please stay tuned for that, and I definitely appreciate y'all for watching if you made it to the end of this video. So yes, I'll see y'all in my next one. Toodles.